Hello, I'm Joule of Unlimited Hornet Works. Thank you for watching our show, Osean Rhino Pilots. I'll confess, I like Ace Combat, but I'm not well versed on the lore. If it's not in Ace Combat 4, 5, 0, Infinity, or 7, I probably don't know about it. Yet here I am, daring to make my first attempt at YouTube content creation about Ace Combat. I've always felt there isn't enough fighter plane movies or TV shows. Sure, there's a lot of good stuff out there. Top Gun, Girly Air Force, Area 88, R2B, and a few others. But not really that much when you compare it to every other genre out there. After Top Gun Maverick and Devotion came out, I was inspired. I would take matters into my own hands. I checked with my friends, gathered everyone who was interested, and we worked something out. Considering our assets, we couldn't make our own Top Gun. We don't have the sets, our actors are in different states or countries. My editing skills are the best on the team, and those aren't professional grade. So Mongoose said, "This looks funny, so let's make it funny." And that's how this became a comedy and parody. I'm grateful I had the support network I had to build this, and I'm going to recognize those who contributed. Mods are an essential part of making this show work. We originally started with the PS4 as 90% of our footage, with PC-based shots of the carrier for takeoff and landings. But as we transitioned from PS4 to PC, our versatility increased. Otis Inf created the universal Unreal Engine 4 unlocker. I use this for the camera footage in both single and multiplayer. He's probably the biggest contributor I've never spoken to. Without the camera mod, this wouldn't have been nearly as easy or fun. Blazed Edge created a number of multiplayer map conversions, Cape Rainy being used in several episodes and music videos. He did a really good job there. Cypher Unknown has also created several mods. We've used his multiplayer mods, as well as his mod for Mission 11, which was heavily featured in episodes 11 and 12. Before we knew about weapon and viz mods, one of the reasons we made this Osean Rhino Pilots, instead of Osean Mudhead Masters, or Osean Fulcrum Flyers, is because of the 2 E-model Super Hornets and the 6 weapon options they presented us. Mr. Zebra created the gray skin for the Top Gun Maverick Super Hornet, giving us those 3 new weapon options for our Super Hornets in the show. Dan Tofu created the Remove Squad Intros mod, which helped us quite a bit with some of the carrier-based footage we've employed. He also created the Lamb to Sparrow Viz mod for the F-14, which we did record footage with, but never actually used. Optical Gaming created a great mod that has been absolutely invaluable in recording episodes. Ace Combat 7 Ultimate Lighting Swap mod. This allowed me to use a lot of missions at any time of day. Pippy Bear Freddy created the All Buddy Use Your Plane in CG mod, as well as a mod that let you switch the uniforms of background NPC personnel. Strike Freedom X2 created the 6 AAM Super Hornet that allowed me to pull off the Macross-style missile attacks in later episodes. Lanzarins created the Carrier Deck Pack, allowing us to put various aircraft on the flight deck. He also created Guest Battler's Tanker Hornet. I'd like to thank Manticoga for the VFA 69 patch that you see in mission briefings. I told him I wanted a one-horn rhinoceros holding a cartoonish revolver while on a surfboard. He really delivered on that. Somehow I forgot to credit him in the main show, and I apologize for that. When I re-release the episodes with subtitles, I'll mention his contributions. The band Strike Eagle, which did a cover version of Burning in the Third Degree from the original Terminator movie. The band doesn't accept direct messages on Twitter, so I just appropriated the song and used it as our opening. Maybe they'll accept an apology over permission. Then there's Boeing, which produces the FA-18 family of aircraft. Please support the official release and purchase your own FA-18 for the low price of $69 million. Thank you. My team has put up with me a lot. I'm not always the easiest person to work with when I have a vision in mind. At the same time, I told everyone they owned their characters, and if I wrote something that they didn't agree with, we would work together to come up with something they felt was appropriate. I would write up a script, but the actors would be free to play with the lines and add a bit of personality to them. Mongoose has been my greatest friend, rival, associate, and a man who has bent many a breakfast buffet to his whim and left them pleading for mercy. His job is to go too far, and my job is to rein in his excess and pull out the strands of brilliance from them. He managed to give me the exact performance I wanted almost every time on the first take. He knows me well enough that he's able to identify exactly the kind of performance I was going for and then nail it. His chemistry with Nello, and the two have only met twice on Discord and barely communicated during those meetings, was strangely compelling. Nello Rosso and I have been on the same Discord server for years, but I only really started talking to him after Top Gun Maverick came out. The first thing he really said to me was reassurance that it did not suck. I ended up watching it in theaters 7 times. Did Nello have me figured out or what? He was a major driving force in getting Osean Rhino Pilots off the ground as a stunt pilot, actor, and creative consultant. Jack Oran started off as a voice actor, but as we transitioned to the PC version of Ace Combat 7, he assumed the unofficial role of an assistant director. In the real world, he's been through years of leadership and project management training, and he's got quite a bit of experience in that realm. 0x7 just stumbled into us. He was willing to fly, and we were grateful for his service. Unfortunately, he had to bow out about halfway through due to real life. But in honor of his service, I credit him as high-speed cheerleader in the last 2 episodes. His spirit will ride with us into any future efforts with Osean Rhino Pilots, even if reality keeps him too busy elsewhere. Marsh Hall, a great pilot. He far outclasses me. He was a better me than me, and did a lot of stunt flying for Crown starting at about episode 3. He also provided piloting for the Red Cloud as well. He largely replaced 0x7 after Zero was unable to keep flying with us. Ajax and I met on a train in 2015, where we became fast friends. She would routinely complain that there was nothing to do in our little corner of the Commonwealth other than our weekly anime nights and occasional laser tag skirmishes. When I suggested doing this, she was like, well, okay, I think we can give this a shot. I'm really grateful to have her with us. Anyina voiced AWACS Athena in 3 episodes. She was originally supposed to take over the role of our permanent AWACS, but as so often does, real life got in the way. I really wanted her to participate openly in the last episode, and she was willing to make it happen, though, and I really appreciate her service. Blaze is a really funny person to credit. The role is basically played by either me, Nello, or Hawk whenever you see them flying. But as Blaze is an actual character in the Ace Combat franchise and plays an important role, I feel like I had to give credit to the character, if nothing else. Guest Battler V. If it wasn't for the fact I need you more than you need me, you wouldn't even be in this. Ever since Ace Combat Infinity, all you ever do is fly in a straight line. Your only contribution is that you prevent pugs from joining our game. Then, when you wanted to be in the show, you never said anything. And even after we made you a tanker and buddy laser, you don't do anything. Not only that, you're always late to joining our formations. That was really painful back in the PS4 days, when we only had 5 minutes to get everyone into position for all of 30 seconds of useful footage. Reason plays games with some of the other members of the show, and expressed interest in being a voice actor when I proposed this idea. He's got a great shouting voice, and I definitely wanted him to be our shooter. The whole launch and final launch montages in episodes 11 and 12 wouldn't work without that voice. Lastly, the man, the myth, the legend. Robert Thomas Hawk. Hawk is my longest-lasting friend and the best friend a guy like me could ever ask for. We met in 1998 online, and in all those years we've never actually met in person. We've been through JavaScript chats, multiple IRC chats, Google, Skype, Discord, and probably a few other platforms that don't immediately come to mind. He's actually taken college-level acting classes, and he's a devout Ace Combat fan, almost as much as Nello. And like Mongoose, he seems to instinctively know what kind of performance I want out of him, so I barely have to direct him. To all our performers, you have my heartfelt thanks. Without you, there would be no show. You didn't get paid for this. You did this out of loyalty to me, and I'm grateful you thought so highly of me as to entrust me with your time and energy. So, what's next? Osean Rhino Pilots is a passion project. Everyone is interested in doing a second, maybe even third season. We're in the process of discussing the story. My hope is someone looks at Osean Rhino Pilots and says, hey, I can do that too, and more competently, and then does it. Then invites us in for a collaboration. It would be neat if we could do a Patreon or Subscribe Star or something like that to help some of the members get better PCs and video editing software. I don't think we have enough viewers for that yet. But you never know. What if one of my videos blows up next week? Thank you to everyone who helped create this, and thank you to everyone who watched. Actually, now that I think about it, there's one more group of people I should thank. I really want to thank my parents, my brothers and sisters, my aunts and uncles, my cousins, and my grandparents for teaching me to be grateful rather than prideful. Thank you.